So starting this list off, in at number 10 we have the creepy animatronics at Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah, apparently these animatronics are scarier than their recycled pizza. The Munch's Make-Believe Band is a group of robots that have been a showstopper at Chuck E. Cheese restaurants since 1989. I didn't know it went back that long.
Come on and sing along with song title. You never can go wrong with song title.
So if you want one last scare, you might need to visit Chuck E. Cheese sooner than later because the company has actually decided to get rid of them for good. Well, you know what? That's probably a smart strategy. Also fix the pizza situation going on there. And I mean, I know that these animatronics have been tormenting and scaring the lives of children for decades, but the company plans on replacing them with updated robots, and you know what? I'm not even mad at that.
Coming in at number 9, we have sea monsters. Here's the thing about Disney rides. Not all of them are going to last forever. In fact, most of them will get shut down and then flipped into something else, especially as Disney continues to buy up every IP in the world. Out with the old, in with the Star Wars. Can we take a breather for a moment and realize how crazy it is that Disney owns Marvel and Star Wars? Darth Vader can fight Iron Man on the big screen and it's completely legal. Well, one of the big Disney movies was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. The ride for this movie kicked off back in the 1970s and people loved it. It would take you underwater and show you a bunch of cool robotic sea monsters and squid attacks pulled right out of the movie. Well, it turns out taking care of a ride that's underwater costs a lot of money, and the whole thing was eventually shut down. This led to all the pieces of the ride being removed, and now giant sea monster animatronics are just sitting somewhere wasting away covered in water damage. Coming in at number 8, we have Western Village Cowboys. Western Village was Japan's attempt at capturing the fun of American cowboy life in a theme park that was based on the rootin' tootin' lifestyle. I think they left out all the parts where people were killed and everyone was racist. I don't know if those things really sell tickets. Well, the dusty revolvers of the park actually brought in a ton of people until they didn't. Just like most theme parks, eventually it saw its last days. And the thing about theme parks is they are very expensive to clear out, so now just a ton of the junk that was used to make this place presentable is just sitting there like old garbage. One of the creepiest aspects of this park are the animatronic cowboys who have much of their clothes removed so you can see their dirty robot parts. Some of them have their rubber faces ripped off, which give them a great Terminator vibe. Coming in at number 7, we have Hot Mess. You can tell that our next animatronic has seen better days. It looks like how I feel after a night out when you get home and the sun's already coming up. You walk in the door and you sit on the couch rethinking your whole life because it feels like a dump truck was just ran through your soul. I don't have a backstory on this bad boy, so I'm just gonna make one up. This animatronic has some pom-poms and the worst pigtails I've ever seen before, so I'm assuming that this animatronic was some sort of cheerleader in its previous life. Then it looks like it was thrown into a landfill where everything that wasn't made of metal rotted away, except for the face for some strange reason. Now it stands in someone's garage for a reason I don't understand. I can only assume that someone was digging around the dump for something to cheer them up. Then they found this cheerleader animatronic that's probably activated every time they walk through the door. They come in and it's like, hey, I hope you had a good day. Coming in at number 6, we have Abraham Lincoln. We all know the famous statue of Abraham Lincoln which sits at the Washington Monument. It represents a moment in American history that should never be forgotten. Well, did you also know that there was an animatronic made for him and it will make a chill run up your spine because of what's left of it? Look at this thing. It doesn't bring any happy thoughts to your mind, that's for sure. All I can think about is destruction and mayhem. Although I would like to see this thing come to life because for some reason I think it would be funny watching Abe Lincoln beat the hell out of people. Coming in at number 5, we have The Inevitable Future. This one is probably the most famous picture of an abandoned animatronic I have ever seen because it got memed super hard. One of the best was Charles Entertainment Cheese has hit rock bottom. I'm sure you can understand why people meme this picture. It's absolutely perfect. But this picture was taken in some desert somewhere, and this for sure is the inevitable future for every Chuck E. Cheese on the planet. I'm pretty sure their financials weren't doing very well before the coronavirus kicked off, but now that everything is in full swing with a worldwide pandemic, the last place you're gonna catch people is at a rat arcade where the air is 50% child coughs and every inch of the place is covered in something sticky. That should be one of the games at Chuck E. Cheese. You should be able to walk around the place and touch random sticky spots, and if you can guess what it is, you get 20 tickets. Like, is it soda? Is it boogers? Is it dried vomit? Who knows? Coming in at number 4, we have Billy Bob Brockali. I have no idea who this animatronic is, but apparently it was an animatronic from Showbiz Pizza in Florida. It should be no surprise that it's fallen apart. Just kidding, everyone likes to dog on Florida, but the leftover shell of this former band member is enough to make your dreams turn into a hellscape. Coming in at number 3, we have Gremlins. Gremlins Gremlins is one of the best horror movies of its day. If you go back and watch it now, it seems kind of cheesy, but I used to love this one as a kid. The movie is still referenced in pop culture to this day. In the movie, they have one very cute looking Furby-esque animatronic, and then there's a bunch of creepy ones that look like they're living in a demon's foot fungus. And if you wanted to see the inner workings of one of these bad boys, well, here you go. This is some of the coolest stuff to me. It's a hit of nostalgia combined with details of how movie magic works. One day we're gonna see one of these for Baby Yoda. Coming in at number 2, we have Old Man Terrifying. This next one looks like something that everyone sees when they have sleep paralysis late at night. One look into this thing's eyes and it should be no surprise that it came from an English theme park that is shut down now. Mind you, this thing was supposed to be a ghoul, so I think it was doing a pretty good job at being terrifying. But what I can't understand is how people running the park thought that they were going to get some business after people saw this thing. Sure, you come to visit and then you get a good fright, and it seems like all fun and games in the moment, but then the 6 months of night terrors you get after you get home will ensure you never venture back to this park again. And coming in at the number 1 spot, we have Jason Voorhees. I don't know how to feel about this. Half of me thinks this is so funny, like it is an amazing prank, and the other half of me thinks this is the most terrifying mean thing you could do to people. But let me give you a rundown on this one. First, I'm going to show you the picture. In the picture, you can see 2 people. One of them is of course Jason Voorhees, and the other is Curtis Lahr. Lahr built a life-size Jason animatronic and anchored it to the bottom of a lake. Now it's so far deep down that most people would never see it, which kind of makes the whole thing a cool art project. But I'm thinking about the one person who would take a deep plunge into this lake and then see this thing and then instantly have a panic attack. Or one day the thing gets dislodged from the bottom of the lake and then there's just a Jason bobbing around in the middle of the water. Yeah. No, thank you.
Starting off with number 10, we have Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's is scary enough as it is. We don't need to transform those creepy characters into animatronics, but too late, because one man referred to as Dr. Creepypasta has created an animatronic of Freddy. I mean, I won't be surprised if it comes alive and then comes after him. But seriously, this man created a Freddy animatronic and programmed it to say different phrases and do different movements. What's creepy is the eye and eyebrow movements. Like, you guys make fun of me for my dancing eyebrows, but take a look at his. It's actually terrifying. Some of the phrases that he is programmed to say is, "It's after hours and you're in for one hell of an adventure." Then he begins to laugh, which turns into this like scary, distorted, dark laugh. Like, is that what people do now for fun? Bringing terrifying creatures to life? I mean, that dude is really talented for creating this, but I'm gonna stay far away from it, you know, just in case.
Climbing up this list, and at number 9 we have E.T.'s friend. If you thought E.T. was scary, I think he was scary when I was younger. Well, you haven't seen anything yet. At Universal Orlando Resort, I dare you to go on the E.T. Adventure ride. Although it's marketed towards children, I guarantee you that you're gonna be freaked out when you're flying by E.T.'s friend. Well, here's a little preview. Well, I've come to accept E.T., but I don't know if I can come to accept his friend. I don't know if I get on board with that one. They're way too terrifying, and to be honest with you guys, they're really creepy, so let's move on. Let's see what else we have on this list. The Little Mermaid swims onto this list at number 8. Disneyland is known for their fully immersive rides and really immersive set designs. But some of their rides are more creepy than magical. Take for example the Little Mermaid ride. The ride follows Ariel through 3 acts, starting with Ariel's world under the sea and goes all the way to the royal wedding celebration, but the Ursula animatronic is what we're talking about right now. She is 7 foot tall, 12 feet wide. Not only does she move super realistically, but sometimes she might even lose her head. Well, take a look at what the heck I'm talking about. Okay, what a poor and unfortunate soul. That was pretty traumatizing if you were a kid and you saw that. Jumping into number 7, we have Jaws. The former Jaws ride at Universal Studios Florida operated for almost 2 decades before it was shut down in 2012 to make way for the wizarding world of Harry Potter, of course. But for those guests who were lucky enough to get onto this ride, they know firsthand how terrifying it would have been to be pursued by a giant great white shark. If you have an irrational fear of sharks, this next clip definitely won't help you guys. 6, we have the entire It's a Small World, well, the ride. It's one of the most annoying rides. Imagine getting stuck on that. Okay, no, seriously, why is this ride so creepy? I swear the only reason why this ride was created was that parents could force their misbehaved kids to go on it and listen to the song play over and over and over. It almost feels like sometimes this ride is not going to end, and it causes these kids to go insane. Does anyone else find the song to be extremely annoying? Like, not the song itself, but the song played 50 times over and over. And I know it's one of Disney's most iconic rides, but I could definitely do without this one. Actually, my life would feel a lot more complete if they just replaced this ride with something else less annoying. Pennywise takes us into our number 5 spot. I'm sure you all know who Pennywise is by now, but in case you repressed all your memories because he scared the hell out of you guys, well, let me refresh your memory. Pennywise is the main antagonist from It, and he can disguise himself as the victim's worst fear, and then he will feed onto their souls. Now that we're all caught up, well, let's take a look at the scary Pennywise Animatronic. Is this real life right now? Is that Georgie with one arm? This Halloween store definitely took things way too far in my opinion, but wait, there's more. You can even hear Georgie scream out in pain. Listen to this. Okay, that's too much, even for me. Let's move on. From Georgie to the Laughing Sal jumps in at number 4. This is a 6-foot tall animatronic that was built primarily to attract carnival and amusement park customers into fun houses and dark rides. But I don't know who the heck would want to come face to face with this thing. Her laugh is the creepiest thing I've ever heard. I'm almost 30 years old and this thing still creeps me out. We need to douse her in some holy water and say some prayers because this thing must be possessed. Number 3, the Ronald McDonald Animatronic Show. Ronald McDonald is creepy enough as it is, and I don't know why. It's the whole clown thing and who's under the mask. Well, we definitely don't need an animatronic version of him. I bet those McDonald's that had this animatronic saw a heavy dip in sales because people would purposely avoid getting their Big Macs from that location because you have to go through him first. And honestly, I don't blame them. They probably betrayed McDonald's and went to the nearest Burger King instead.
Different than the ones we had before.
You should be happy that I only showed you a small clip because this thing is pretty creepy. Apparently there was a button that you can push and he would just constantly sing and dance. Thankfully there aren't any more of these creepy Ronald McDonalds, and for that I think the world is a better and safer place. Bringing us into number 2, we have this creepy clown. Is this real life right now? This is not okay. How does something like this actually exist? I don't know. You know what we should do? We should petition this to have this thing burned down immediately. Let's not waste any time here. I honestly don't know what kid would want to see this thing in person. If you didn't have a fear of clowns before, well, you probably do now. I couldn't find a video of this clown in action, and you know what? I'm actually pretty glad about that. You're welcome. So now you don't have to face the fact that I almost traumatized you with that one. So from there, let's move on to the original Chuck E. Cheese animatronic doll. So this tops our list in at number 1. We've seen real life looking sharks, we've seen some E.T.'s creepy friends, but none of that will prepare you for this Chuck E. Cheese robotic doll. You can't say that I didn't warn you. Whoever made this thing must have hated children. I literally feel like he's looking right into my soul. Kids probably used to hide underneath the tables when the lights turned off because they wouldn't dare look into his eyes. Nothing good ever came from watching this performance. Mostly just nightmares.
They're in the house. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything that would have me running out of someone's house faster than seeing that they have a bunch of animatronics tucked away in their home. Like, do you want to come over and play 2K and watch some new episodes of Love Island? Well, are those creepy robots gonna be staring at me like they're gonna harvest my soul, or did you get rid of them like a normal person? The YouTuber Connor Leszewski has a collection of these bad boys just laying around his place, and he gives the viewers a full tour of them in his place while the lights are off for an added creepy feel.
Okay, open the curtains. Okay, this is Rolf the Wolf saying thanks for using the show selector.
Oh great, they work too. You know you would be getting a good night's sleep when one of those things starts screaming at you in the middle of the night. If you have a house that looks like this, don't at me. Delete my number. Unfriend me. Because we're never hanging out because we have nothing in common. At number 9 we have the Henn Hotel. If you're looking for a unique experience in Japan that might also live in your nightmares so vividly you could swear they were real, you should go to this hotel pronto. I mean, who doesn't want to have their vacation start with a T-Rex sporting a wig checking you in at a hotel? The Henn Hotel in Tokyo has found a hook that keep the people coming. Many workers at the hotel have been replaced with robotic animatronics. Some of them seem like normal looking people that stare back at you with the lifeless smile of a mannequin that has just learned the urge to kill, while some of them are more inventive, like the little singing tokapi looking dudes they put in your room and the aforementioned animatronic dinosaur concierge. This really does too many things. On one side you have a place that is cool and futuristic. It's a different take on a hotel, what it might feel like to stay in a hotel 20 years from now. But on the other hand you have a place that gives off the major vibe of a horror movie. This is exactly what I think a hotel would be like if you checked in and there was no guests, and then there's no cell phone reception, and you get all paranoid that the animatronics are alive, and then it's revealed that someone is turning people into animatronic slaves and forcing them to work there in the hotel forever. And then you're next. God, I come up with so many good movie ideas on this channel.
Coming in at number 8 we have the Rockafire Explosion. Now there is nothing cute or entertaining about these animatronics. They all look terrifying enough to give children and adults nightmares. So the Rockafire Explosion was a band similar to Chuck E. Cheese and his crew. They played at Showbiz Pizza Place from 1980 to 1992. Now, we have several terrifying band members. Let's start with Rolfie, who played the banjo. Now, this wolf is seen holding and swinging around his friend, but it just looks creepy. Then you have Billy Bob, that just looks like a bear that has gone through some stuff and has seen way too much. And lastly, we have Mitzi Mozzarella, who in my opinion is the creepiest of them all. She is a cheerleader, but she is definitely lacking the pep. She has huge wide eyes and a giant smile plastered on her face. The makeup that they put on her just makes her look that much scarier, like she's got eerily red cheeks and red lips. She also has blonde ponytails, but it doesn't fit her costume. It looks like she's just wearing hair from like a child. Now another thing that makes these animatronics so terrifying is that they would often glitch. As a result, their eyes would often be rolled back in their head or twitching. Yeah. No thanks.
At number 7 we have the T-Rex from the original Jurassic Park. Yo, I didn't know that Jurassic Park did an actual animatronic dinosaur until this list, but back in the 90s CG was kinda trash, so when people were making a movie they didn't want to make the star look like a smear of greenish pixels, so they built a massive sized animatronic T-Rex. That is both the coolest thing I've ever heard of and so scary. I just think about this thing getting hooked up to Skynet and becoming the most dangerous Terminator of all time, which is actually pretty cool. The tail alone on this monster was 14 feet long. To construct the whole thing, they ended up using over 3 tons of clay. The beast ran on a sophisticated hydraulic system, which is how it was able to move at high speeds and with the accuracy that you saw in the movie. I think when they were all done with it, it should have technically been classified as a weapon of mass destruction. They could upgrade this thing to make it super cool, put a whole bunch of military stuff on it, like strap a couple bazookas to it, maybe a laser in the middle of the forehead, a jetpack, and you can fly in and scare the hell out of everyone. You would have a living demon on your team. You would never lose a war with that thing.
At number 6 we have the Towering Doll. Just when you thought these couldn't get any scarier, whew. This next animatronic features a grayish, dirty looking possessed doll dressed in a cloak that looks like it just stole from a Dementor from Harry Potter. Now, this doll has flashing blue eyes and skeleton hands. Honestly, I'd be cool if it was just, stay like that, it's fine. But no, they had to add another layer of creep and just make it talk. This doll has a young, eerie voice that says things like, "Do you want to play with me?" or "Let's play a game." The rules are very simple. Come here and I'll show you. Then, if you get closer, the doll's eyes change to red and it slowly raises up, towering over you. Its voice changes to a dark demon voice and says, "Now I can see you. You look good enough to eat. We can play hide and seek if you want. You run and I'll come find you." And the award to the scariest and most disturbing dialogue goes to this animatronic.
For the number 5 spot, we have Lyndon B. Johnson. I don't know about you, but human-like animatronics really make me not want to sleep at night. They are too close to puppets, which are too close to clowns, which I've gone on the record many times saying that I've never liked. I have no time for anything that is creepy and pretending to be nice, and this Lyndon B. Johnson is exactly that. If you want to look at this creepy man doll, you gotta head over to the Presidential Library and Museum. For the most part, it is a pretty cool tourist attraction, but then when you get to LBJ, he starts to lull you into a false sense of security with jokes. Yeah, this robot man has a series of quips programmed into him so you don't suspect that he's trying to get you close enough so he can steal your skin and come join the land of the living. Well, I'm on to you, and I know what you're up to, and I'm not happy about it.
In our 4th spot, we have the Woke Up Dead animatronic. This one really got to me. Like, seriously. It's a Halloween animatronic, or I mean, it could be home decor or whatever your vibe is, I'm not gonna judge. But honestly, it will definitely scare away any trick-or-treaters and probably leave them scarred for life. But hey, at least you get more candy, right? So this animatronic features an individual laying down with a sheet over its body. All that is seen is its feet, so you wouldn't think that it's too scary, right? Well, wrong. This animatronic shows the outline of an individual's face through the sheet that is blood soaked. Then the body shakes and all you can hear are sounds of gurgling blood. It makes me feel like I have something stuck in my throat. Like, since it literally sounds like they're choking on the blood, it's very disturbing. Then the animatronic also lets out some scary demonic growls. Yeah, this is way too much to be Halloween decor.
For the number 3 spot, we have the Lake Placid Croc. Let's go back into the realm of giant man-eating monsters. Do you guys remember the movie Lake Placid? Well, no, it wasn't very good. It was during the reign of monster movies where you took a normal-sized animal and made it into a big animal, and then that was really it. That was the whole plot of the movie. We had anaconda, mosquitoes, 8-legged freaks, and my personal favorite, Piranhaconda. But for the movie Lake Placid, they built a giant animatronic crocodile with a fully functioning tail and jaws that would open up and snap close. The movie is kind of a dud, but this thing is a masterpiece. It had to be submerged for pretty much the entire movie, so it was completely waterproof and able to float with literally tons of hydraulic gear inside of it. One look at this bad boy and you are not going to want to go for that afternoon swim.
Making our way to our 2nd spot, we have the Killer Psycho. I think this is one of the most disturbing things I have seen. This is the Killer Psycho animatronic, which was part of the Trans World Animatronic Convention in 2019. Honestly, they killed it with this one. Get it? Now, this animatronic features a towering creature that looks like it recently escaped from an asylum. It is wearing white ripped clothing and has a Hannibal Lecter type mask on its face. What makes this even creepier is that it is covered in blood and is holding a life-size woman who appears to be a nurse. This is the nurse from the asylum that he escaped. This woman is seen hanging upside down, rocking back and forth, trying to escape as the creature holds onto her by her feet. As this woman is trying to escape, the creature just swings her side to side and lets out a menacing muffled laugh. And this woman, to me, looks too realistic. And her screams are way too eerie. It just makes me uncomfortable. The artist did a good job, but also, who comes up with this kind of stuff? Like, jeez.
And for the number 1 spot, we have Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum. If one animatronic wasn't enough to freak you out, how about a whole museum full of them? If you have a fear of robots, this place is spooky enough to make you curl up in a ball until someone comes to find you. They have everything from creepy fortune tellers that are locked away in those boxes that beg you for coins. You know, the kind that look like they're gonna blast through the glass and then choke you until your head pops right off your shoulders with those creepy little hands. They have a robot puppet band that dances when you put a coin in them. They got merry-go-rounds, arcade machines, and a whole scene of a bunch of devils playing pool that are hanging out in a bar, and it's actually carved out of wood, which is actually pretty cool. This whole museum is bizarre, cool, and creepy all at the same time. It's something I simultaneously want to see every inch of and never step foot inside of.